Tiger Stripes. I'm Aria.
And I'm Seamus. We're going to show everything that is too long to fit on The Daily Show.
First off, some 20 TV members interviewed FCPS school board member Ryan McElveen. Let's take a look.
Hi, this is Seamus from Twain TV. We're here with Mr. Ryan McElveen, who's a member of the school board. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me.
All right. Our first question is, how do you feel about Fairfax County's decision to give schools only 3% more in this year's budget?
So the budget is actually one thing we're very focused on right now. As many of you have probably heard, we're looking at a deficit of about $70 million as of right now. And that's a result of a decline in state funding and our County Board of Supervisors not being able to make up the funding for us. Now, that might change a little in the coming weeks. We'll see. But if we are left with a $70 million shortfall in our funding, that's going to mean a lot of decreased funding for a lot of student activities. It'll mean increased student fees for things like testing and athletics and things that, when you go to high school, will be a bigger deal. And also for things like pupil placing. So if you go to one school when you're supposed to go to another school, based on where you live, that'll be an additional fee. So I think all of us are very concerned about the underfunding of education, and particularly what it means for the future of the county.
Okay. How do you think this will affect FCPS?
I think one of the things we've done over the past 5 years or so since the big recession in the year 2008, every year we've been cutting our budget. So over the past 5 years, we've cut a total of 2,200 teaching positions. We've cut about $500 million from our operating fund, which means less support at central offices. It means fewer teachers in the classroom and bigger classrooms or higher classroom sizes. And we know that those are things that directly affect students. And 88% of the county's budget is in personnel, so like your teachers, your principals. And so anytime we have a shortfall in funding, it's really teacher salaries that get hit. And we want to continue to attract the best teachers to Fairfax, but that's going to be difficult if we don't have the funding.
Okay. What do you think might be the targets of cuts if they come to pass?
So there is actually on the FCPS website a list of items that are potential cuts. And last year, when we were predicting that we were going to have this shortfall this year, our superintendent put together a budget task force, and that task force kind of weighed different options for cutting the budget. And so that has everything from athletics to music programs to foreign language programs. And one of the things you will notice when you look at that is that it's really things that are going to impact students. So it's your course offerings and things like that. And that's something that the school board certainly does not want to cut, but we might have no choice.
What's your favorite thing about your job as a member of the school board?
My favorite thing about being on the school board is getting to interact with students. Unfortunately, about 90% of my time I sit in meetings, which are not all that exciting, but they're very important for the governance of the school system. But I enjoy coming out doing interviews like this. I enjoy going to school events, musicals, sports events, things like that.
Okay. So what inspired you to run for school board?
So I first ran for school board when I was just out of graduate school, so when I was 25 years old. And when I was elected, I became the youngest school board member in Fairfax County history. But that was a very interesting time in my life because I was going to grad school in New York. But I knew I wanted to move back to this area because I liked what this area offered, not only in terms of education, but in terms of job opportunities. And it's a really good place to raise a family. So I really wanted to give back to the school system that had given me so much. So I wanted to run for school board. You have to kind of go through a party process, which is not all that fun. You think when you're dealing with a school system, politics shouldn't be that involved, but unfortunately it is. And so you have to be able to win over older people, not just students, and that's not always that easy, especially if you're a younger person. But I was lucky enough to be elected.
All right. Do you have any long-term plans for Fairfax County public school systems, and how do you think you will execute these goals?
So some of the things I've really been focused on during my time on the school board have been healthier food, improving our world language programs, and also improving opportunities for alumni to engage with the school system. So with my first initiative, which was on improving school food, we've come a long way in the 5 years since I've been on the school board. You might not see it in the cafeteria, but we have created a pilot program at Marshall High School in Falls Church area that is it's essentially a kitchen where they can make food on site. So Fairfax County, since the 1970s, hasn't been able to make food in our cafeterias. They're just essentially reheating places. So that's why we end up with microwave pizza and microwave things and that kind of stuff that isn't all that healthy or exciting. But now I think we've hired a new director of food and nutrition services. So we're looking at a lot more healthier, fresher food like salad bars in all of our schools. We're looking at doing barbecue, utilizing barbecue pits out in courtyards in schools, and we're looking at also getting school gardens in place at all schools so that produce can then be used in the school kitchens. So I think we're making progress on that front. On world languages, it's been a little bit different because of funding, but we do have a goal in Fairfax that all students should graduate knowing at least an additional language to their mother language. And it's hard to get those programs in the elementary school because they're expensive, but we want to do more language immersion things. And then finally with alumni engagement, which you guys are far away from, but once you graduate from Fairfax County, it's one of my goals to get former students back involved, not only to give money, but also to network and help make the community a more vibrant place.
Okay. It's been nice speaking to you, and we'll be back after the break with some more interview questions.
Stay connected. Follow Twain TV on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. See all our videos over at youtube.com/TwainMSNews.
Welcome back to Twain TV. I'm Sophia, and we're here with school board member Ryan McElveen. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Do you actually get to decide when we have snow days?
So this is a question that I get quite a bit, and many students don't realize that I am not the person that determines whether we have school or not. But the school board members do have input on whether we have concerns or whatnot with decisions. The person that does make the decision is our assistant superintendent for facilities and transportation, a guy named Jeff Plattenberg. And he oversees our department, which looks at road conditions and facilities and whether we're able to open school on time. And a lot of things go into that decision. It's not only the road conditions and the conditions of our facilities, but it's also the weather forecast, what other governments in the area are doing. If it's a morning decision, usually they're up by 2 a.m. working on the decision to be sent out by 4:30 or 5 a.m. So it's a difficult process.
How does it feel to be a Fairfax County online celebrity?
So another question I get a lot. I would say it's just kind of weird. I have, having come out of the system, I kind of get it. I understand that people want to know information as soon as possible. And when I was a student, back then we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have the internet, so we had to turn on Red Apple 21 every time we wanted to wait for a snow day decision, and that sucked a lot because you're essentially just glued to your TV. Nowadays things are a lot quicker. So I mean, I understand. I'm kind of happy to have that to be known when I go into schools, because I think kids are a lot more willing to approach me than they would be otherwise.
What's your stance on the fake FCPS Twitter accounts?
So we've actually had to deal with fake Twitter accounts for several years now. We have a pretty good system. Our communications department kind of has a good relationship with Twitter because they have to contact them so often about the fake accounts. But usually we get them taken down within a few days, and I think it's unfortunate that they give people wrong information, but there's not much we can do about that.
Do Do you have any tips for Twitter?
My tips for Twitter would be, I guess those would be TWIPs, right? Those would be just be very nice to people. Don't use it for bullying. That's one of the things that our school board is very focused on is stopping cyberbullying, because we know it can have a big impact on students. I always try to be happy and nice when I'm online, and I think students should as well.
Are you worried about getting any more inclement weather days?
So this year has been, unfortunately, a very warm year, but the good news is that we did take advantage of one very massive cold period, and we did get more than a week off of school, which I think a lot of people enjoyed. But I think from here on out it's going to be pretty warm, so we might get one or two, but I think because of El Nino, this year has been unfortunately devoid of snow days.
Okay, thank you. We'll be right back with Ryan McElveen.
Come see Seussical the Musical, April 15th at 7 p.m., April 16th at 2 and 7 p.m., April 17th at 2 p.m. at Mark Twain Middle School. See you there!
Welcome back to Twain TV. I'm Alina, and we're here with Cupcake the Tiger and Mr. McElveen, school board member. Thanks again for being here.
Of course.
What are some of the biggest challenges Fairfax County faces?
Well, we face quite a few different challenges. Budget is certainly one of them. And most of our challenges are actually related to budget. So, again, attracting teachers to our county is a budget-related issue because of funding. Bringing down our class sizes is a funding-related issue because in order to get more teachers, we need more funding. Most of the other issues we face, I think the school board does a good job responding to. In the past few years, we've had some issues with our discipline system. You might have heard that there were some student suicides, and we have done a big focus on mental health and things like that. We've also dealt with start times. We know that was a big decision that has confronted this community for maybe about 4 decades. So we're glad to have solved that partially, at least for high school students. So when things arise, the school board is usually pretty good at dealing with them.
Okay. Some students are worried that the county won't have enough money for the extracurricular activities next year. What's your opinion on that?
So I do think we will have funding for extracurriculars. We will probably have to cut around the edges at least, which might mean no freshman sports, meaning if you go to high school, you might have to go directly into JV if you want to play for a sports team. Potentially 4th grade strings, something that I personally benefited from. But these are no things that we don't want to cut.
Do you believe that switching middle school and high school start times is a good idea?
I do believe that starting all of our schools later is a good thing for student health. Unfortunately, again, it costs money to change start times. And so we actually prioritized high school because students are there for 4 years, whereas middle school, they're only there for 2. Anytime you change start times, you have to add more buses, and that's expensive. So over the coming years, we're going to look at how we can make middle schools start later. The ideal time for all of our schools is a start time around 8 to 8:30. So that's something we're going to aim for, potentially adjusting it a few minutes each year.
Okay. So what are you binge watching these days?
So that's actually a difficult question because I'm kind of between shows. I just actually finished the Chinese version of House of Cards, which is actually a 76 episode long thing, and it took me our whole week of snow days to finish watching that. But I do know that the American House of Cards will be coming out soon. So will Veep, another favorite show of mine. If you can't tell, I like political shows. But those are just some of the things I'm watching.
Okay. So this is the last question, and it is probably the most important one out of all of them. Okay. Which side, pancakes or waffles?
So I definitely prefer pancakes.
That's a good answer.
They're softer. They tend to be wider, like me. You know, yeah, they're more fun to eat.
Okay. Can we take a selfie with you?
Of course. Let's go. Are we doing this on camera? Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Okay. Everyone has to come over here. Okay. Okay, let's go. Oh, it's here. Oh, that's why. Okay, sorry. I'm blocking some of it. There you go. Awesome.
Wow, that was really interesting. Now, have you ever been to the Zero Tardy Party? If your answer is yes, well, good job on not being late. If no, you can see what you missed and try for it next time.
What are your thoughts on the party? I think it's pretty cool. It looks like a lot of fun. There's snacks, there's dancing, there's music. You can't go wrong with that. All right, thank you. You're welcome.
It was amazing. Okay, it was beautiful. Just 1,000 voices I feel like came together in one, singing the just best song I think I've ever heard.
Really? So was it hard not being tardy?
Yes.
Yes or no? All right. Thank you so much, Nathaniel. Enjoy the party.
Thanks for watching Tiger Stripes. I'm Aria.
And I'm Seamus. Be sure to follow on Twain TV on all your favorite social media platforms. And be sure to check out more from the news crew at youtube.com/TwainMSNews.
Have a good one, Twain.